So one of the things I've been thinking a lot about recently is carbon footprinting. So this comes up quite a bit in discussions with businesses where they are looking to move towards net zero. And one of the first tasks they'll do is get a consultant in to measure how much carbon the business is emitting at the moment, and then they can set a target like, I'm going to reduce emissions by 20% a year or 10% a year, whatever it may be, towards zero. I get that, and it is a good approach in some ways, but it has some limits as well. And I think one of my reflections on that is that this is the approach that we could have all taken had we started this in the late 1970s or the early 1980s. But unfortunately we didn't. We all fell for the rubbish that we were sold by ExxonMobil, BP and Shell, and we started far too late. Now we're in panic mode and we don't really have the time to take these slow incremental steps where we try and reduce carbon without having an effect on the business model. Carbon footprinting's not dead, it's not nothing, but it cannot be used as an excuse for inaction because that's just going to slow us down too much. So my message to businesses is look quickly at where you're buying fossil fuels, where you're burning fossil fuels, and look for a way to get rid of it. And if you don't, if you stick around and say, actually, I'm okay to be buying this fossil fuel, burning it, and using that to produce a service for my customers and make a profit for myself, your business model is fundamentally broken. You're in the same situation as Kodak were when they were waiting to see how digital photography panned out. The reason the business model's broken is that there's a massive cost to this CO2 equivalent that's being emitted. And at the moment, that cost is externalized, so somebody else is paying it for you. Society's not going to tolerate that for much longer. The level of activism that we're seeing around is growing daily. And to not embrace those changes will leave you left behind waiting and wondering why you didn't make the change earlier. So by all means measure your carbon footprint, but don't use it for an excuse for inaction. Look for those exhaust pipes and find ways to get rid of them as quickly as you can.